The Athabasca River, no doubt you've heard of it if you're from Alberta, because it's Alberta's longest river, and it extends some 1,232 kilometers from its birth up near where I live in the Rocky Mountains in Jasper National Park, meandering northeast through the province, eventually to pass by such communities as Fort McMurray, where my own mother was born, and then to finally make its way to its end at the Athabasca Peace Delta, which is the largest freshwater delta in the world, somewhere up there near Fort Chipewyan, where my own grandmother was born. I find myself here today in the town of Athabasca, somewhere halfway along its meanderings, and I've come here to celebrate a history, a bloodline, a history not only of this province, but of my own. I'm here to celebrate the life of Louis FOSSENEUVE, or Captain Shot, who also happened to be my great-great-grandfather, a proud Métis. The sun's going down on us here in this cemetery, but tomorrow I hope to hook up with some other Métis family members of mine to learn a little bit more about this important history. So, let's see how it goes. Captain Shot was born Louison FOSSENEUVE, Louison, an old French version of the name Louis, in the Red River settlements of Manitoba in March of 1844, and he came across the Great Plains as a buffalo hunter, acquiring the nickname Sure Shot as he did so along the way before he settled into a life along the Athabasca River. Although there may not have been a bridge spanning the width of the Athabasca in the days when Sure Shot came across the Great Plains as a buffalo hunter, I'm sure the look of the river itself hasn't changed much, except for the fact that what was once a setting off point called Athabasca Landing is now the town of Athabasca itself. The very first community that was established in what would eventually become Alberta was established in the 1770s by the Hudson Bay Company at Fort Chipewyan, and Fort Chip was a stepping off point into Canada's Arctic, a very important part of the fur trade history of this country. The way into the North Country at that point in time was over the dreaded Metis Portage, which was requiring a long carry of a lot of gear and a lot of boats. But that would change in 1867 when a bishop named Thoreau asked a young Louison FOSSENEUVE if he would be the man that would make an attempt on the Grand Rapids, something that was thought not possible by many people who tried before. Well then, this brash young Métis buffalo hunter with hawk-like eyes, standing 6'3" and being said to be not one to turn down a challenge, set off down the river in fully laden scows. Whether or not Sure Shot was on board those scows when they shot those rapids, suffice it to say, they shot the rapids, thereby not only changing the course of commerce in the north, but changing the course of history and changing his name from Sure Shot to Captain Shot, king of the Athabasca Rivermen. Now, fast forward some 149 years from 1867, when Louis shot the rapids and Canada was born, to this. A gathering of bloodlines, not only of Louis, but also of his brother Francois. People from the Red River settlements through to Saskatchewan to Alberta, and subsequently now all over the world. We've all gathered here in Athabasca to tell some stories, to gather up some history of our people, and I'm looking forward to hearing a lot of those stories. It began as FOSSENEUVE, and eventually, as it came across the country, it changed. It was FOSSENEUVE, FOSSENEUVE, eventually just to be Shot, sometimes with 2 T's, sometimes with only 1. At any rate, whatever you call yourself, the blood in this man's veins is the very same blood that courses through all our own. And we've gathered here today in the Agriplex in Athabasca to learn a little bit more about him, which hopefully will tell us a little bit more about ourselves. So why don't we meet some of these people and hear some of their stories? Okay, so what's in a name? Cousin Daryl from the Francois FOSSENEUVE side has a story about what's in a name.
The name of our FOSSENEUVE name was paddling in Quebec in a canoe race, the Swinigan Le Classique. And 50,000 people had heard the name FOSSENEUVE. FOSSENEUVE, and it did 50,000 laughed at it because our last name and the meaning in French was a new grave, an open grave. And with carrying that name, and I never knew that until then, when I got my English paddling partner, my English French speaking paddling partner, laughing at my last name. They told me it's a new grave, an open grave. Yeah.
And what the pronunciation would have been different in Quebec than the way that you guys say it.
It was a fancy FOSSENEUVE. FOSSENEUVE. Yeah. Yes.
Right on. Getting together in Athabasca, there's all kinds of families, aunties, cousins, far removed, closely so many. The stories are far too many to tell all in one video. The video is long enough as it is, but these beautiful ladies here will fill me in as time goes by. Thanks to everybody in Athabasca for hosting us. Thank you to Daryl for first putting this on the table. Thank you to Claudia for gathering up all the information. Thank you to Auntie Lena for being there, the guiding rock right here. She's the oldest elder here at the FOSSENEUVE Gathering. It's been excellent, and look forward to more history unfolding as we move forward in this world.